Ever Solo streamers. Aren't they cool? Yes, they are. Do you know that they don't make the A6 anymore? The DMP A6. They just make the Gen 2. So you can't get the A6 anymore. You can get the A6 Master Edition. You can get the DMP A8. You can get the DMP A10. A10 looks pretty cool. A8 looks really cool. I mean, the A10 looks cooler, but whatever. Looks aren't everything. Okay, maybe they are. Just kidding. They got the amp F2 and they got the amp F10, which is cool. They got the transport T8, which, I mean, you would need your own DAC for, correct? And then they've got the Ever Solo Play, and that one looks really neat. It's very compact. I want to look into that a little bit more. Oh my God, they make DACs. The DAC Z8 and the DAC Z6. I'd have to look into those to see, what's on them. But you can tell that they're made in China because they still say MQA on them. MQA. Like, MQA is still around in Tidal because Tidal made a huge mistake with MQA, but like that's a dead format. Well, not dead, but if you know anything about MQA, you know it's dead. So anyway, regardless, they make a mic and they make a remote. That's what Ever Solo makes. Now, here's the tricky part. The original A6 was built in, let's get a new piece of paper so we can figure this shit out. Don't worry, I do recycle. A6 built in May 2023. It was being reviewed by reviewers just before Christmas of last year. That's when I seen it. That's when I seen it for the first time. Okay, then they made the A6 in November of that year. So that's 6 months later, they made the Master Edition. So 6 months later, they made the Master Edition. Then in January of 2025, which is a reasonable time to make an improvement over the Master Edition, which really, all I really see in the differences is DAC chips. DAC chips, a few features here, a few features there, nothing too serious. I don't have all of them in front of me to go through them. I would need a substantial amount of cash to do that. And we'll get to that. We'll get to why I don't have one. Okay, then you've got the DMP A8, and that was made in November of 2023. Okay. That wasn't reviewed until quite a bit later, like after Christmas. Probably when I decided on a different streamer anyway, just due to some costs that I had incurred in business, costs that I had incurred in stereo equipment, and costs that I had incurred in my birthday gift for myself, because I'm a average guy that likes to buy birthday gifts for himself on his birthday, which is the last day of the year. Okay, so has anyone done the math yet? Because it's the math that is the reason that I didn't buy the Ever Solo. And a conversation with a buddy that had an A6. And we played with it a little bit, and it was kind of cool. Kind of more Android-y than Apple, but you can do it either way. Like, it doesn't matter. But it's Android-y. And like everything works. It doesn't matter if you got an Android or you got an Apple. You can't stream Apple music to any of them. You've got to AirPlay it. And I hate AirPlay. I hate it. Every time I want to play an Apple song, just to hear it on my phone, it goes to my television because it's hooked up to some Apple box somewhere or the television's on, and it just pisses me off. I don't like Apple AirPlay because I don't want to listen to it on my phone. I just want to listen to it on my, like, I don't want to listen to it on the TV. I want to listen to it on the phone. Does that make any sense? So anyway, I'm talking to a buddy, and he's got the A6, and we're going through it, and it's pretty cool. And I was like just about sold on this unit. And yeah, I sat back because, you know, you had to collect a little bit of cash at the time. Right now, the Gen 2 I think is like $1,600, and I needed a new AVR for upstairs. My AVR was shitting the bed, and I knew it. And it was only HDMI 2.0, so the internet in the house had changed somehow, and the HDMI switching board wasn't working properly. So I just said, you know what, I've always wanted an RZ50, and I had to drive all the way to like five hours to go get an RZ50 because there wasn't a dealer in my city. There is not an Onkyo dealer in my city, or a Pioneer dealer in my city, or an Integra dealer in my city, and that's probably because they're all sisters. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I changed that out. So the Ever Solo was kind of off the table. But the release of the A8 was 6 months later. 6 months later, they released the A8. And my buddy and I were chatting the one day, and he was the one who brought it up. He said, did you know that Ever Solo just released a whole new streamer? And I'm like, no. So I searched for it, and I watched a review, and it was like the first review. I think the only thing I could find on the A8 on the bloody YouTube. And I was like, So I had kind of Googled and stuff, and trying to find manufacture dates and trying to find this. And this is a Chinese product, so it was kind of tricky. Now that I've got ChatGPT, and I've got Grok, and I've got this, and I've got a VPN, well, I can scour the earth. I can go into the pyramids if I want. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you're going to release a brand new unit for, you know, more dollars and an improvement, 6 months later, well, that's like your favorite speaker company. I don't care. Polk Audio. I don't care. Your favorite amp company. I don't care. Well, amps are different, but because they might release a whole line of entry, you know, mid and high end. You know, Macintosh doesn't do that, but they do in a sense, because it's like wattage. You know, 200, 300, 400 watts, you know, mono blocks, this and that and the other thing. But they generally release it kind of all in the same kind of time. But a streamer, something as complicated and as simple in the same sentence as a streamer, totally revamped, totally upgraded, and totally cooler than the A6 that you just bought 6 months ago. Or better yet, maybe you bought it 3 months prior to finding out about this. Well, I'll tell you right now, man, I could hear the disappointment in that man's his voice. Like he's on the phone and he's like, that's fucking gay, man. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds gay. I'm glad I didn't buy one. Because, yeah. I made a comment on Darko, and I said, thank God I never got involved with Ever Solo, because they release a new product every 15 minutes. Might be on his page. I think he was reviewing the AMP 10. The AMP 10 paired with the A10. I think that's what he was reviewing. Anyway, my comment's there. Maybe he deleted it like some other reviewers do. It wasn't a bad comment. I mean, that's a fair comment. You know, I don't want to be part of that because, you know, that's like your favorite speaker company. Like, let's use Polk Audio, you know. They released the R700, and they released it a long time ago. They haven't really upgraded that speaker. They haven't. It's a fabulous speaker. I've heard it. It's great. I like it. I'd like to own them. Now, if 6 months later they release the R800 floor standing tower speaker, and it was even better, and it was just a little bit more money, but it was substantially, or whatever, whatever, because the DAC chips are the secret to all this. I would be pissed right off. Because then you're on the used market trying to sell this, trying to buy that, unless you're perfectly 100% happy with the R700s. And audiophiles, not that I am one, but I am a gear junkie. Always want the bigger, better thing. My brother always calls it the bigger, better, fatter, better burger. You gotta have her. And I was like, yeah, you bet. But he's into bicycles, like actual pedal bicycles, and he's not afraid to drop 10 grand on a bicycle. He's a Learjet pilot. He's got that kind of cash and that kind of mentality. Anyway, would you guys be pissed? Would you be pissed? Because my buddy was pissed, and he's just an average guy. So would you be pissed? I was pissed off enough to never look at the products again. Like, figure your shit out, you know? Like, don't release something 6 months later. Like, take the Apple phone. They release a new phone every year. They have religiously released a new phone every year. And they have skipped a year or two. And they have skipped a number or two. Like, I don't think there was an iPhone 9, you know what I mean? Then there was the iPhone X, and then the 11. I think there was an 11. Then there was a 12. But anyway, like, get on some sort of schedule instead of flooding the market with your products. Like, that's economics 101. That's retail 101. That's, I don't know. It just pissed me off, and it pissed me off because my buddy was just pissed right off and disappointed in himself. He probably sold it. He's probably got the A10 now. Who knows what he's got. He's an audiophile, a complete junkie. Awesome guy. Probably one of the only audiophiles I get along with. And yeah, so anyway, drop it in the comments. Would you be pissed, or are you pissed because you own an A6? Or is that A6 so good that that's your end game? I don't know. Drop her in the comments. Let me know. Yeah, anything. Because I'm still pissed about this. Like, it just drives me nuts. Just the frickin' mathematics to it all. Anyway, you guys have a great day. If you like the video, like and subscribe. If not, have a great day.